Hey everybody, this is Mr. Sasala, Athletic Director here at St. Vincent-St. Mary High School. I want to go over some important information for the spring season. And just like I did in the winter, we're going to make this a video meeting rather than an in-person meeting instead of gathering everybody in the gym or LRC or student center, whatever it may be. I think it's a lot easier to get this information out to you via email, via final forms, online. Makes everything a lot easier. You can watch it on your own time in the comfort of your home, business, whatever it may be. But again, this information is really important for both the parents and the student athletes. Again, great information for both people. Like I said, my name is Mr. Sasala. For you student athletes, Kyle Sasala for you parents, alumni, grandparents, whatever it may be. This is our contact information for the athletic office. A new addition to our team is Brendan Hall. With Carly stepping down, Brendan is stepping into her position. Brendan is a young buck, energized, ready to go. He's been an assistant athletic director before. I actually hired him as my assistant athletic director at my last position and brought him back home, as I like to say, with me. He's originally from Padua. I went to Padua. He's originally from the Parma area in Northeast Ohio, born and raised. So he understands the area. But he started back probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's doing a great job. So that's his contact information. Obviously, Brian Knight, our athletic trainer. Hopefully you do know him, and also maybe don't know him because that's probably a good thing because you haven't been in his office a lot for taping or training or rehabilitation, whatever it may be. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. But he's been, Brian's been here for 20 plus years, does a great job with our kids, keeping them safe on and off the court. But overall, it's a great job. Another newer addition is Nico Ramicone. He's our strength and conditioning coach. He started back in October or so. He's oversees the weight training, strength, agility programs, weight room. He's been off to a great start as well. So again, just want to touch base with you a little bit about some of the spring information. Again, crazy to think that winter season is already almost over with and the spring season is quickly approaching us. So moving forward, I want to talk a little bit about our athletics purpose, our goals, our why we do what we do. St. Vincent-St. Mary Athletics strives to be competitive in all sports, participating in the OHSA while being renowned for academic excellence through student graduation rates and scholastic honors. Athletics, and this is a big piece, athletics at SDVM provides exceptional value for our student athletes on and off the playing field. So I think that's a big key component and important is not necessarily all about on the court or on the playing field, but primarily and mostly off the field items. And I want to use as the PowerPoint states, use education-based athletics as a platform to transform student lives. So what I mean by that is I want to transform student lives by using education-based athletics, understanding that they are still young adults. I would say young adults. They're still young children, and we're here to again transform them not only into be better athletes, but to be better people, better moms, better dads, better young men, young women. Again, better athletes in general, but also better people, better character in general as well. And I'm a big proponent of the transformational coaching. I want this to be a developmental piece of it. I want them to learn some of the things that they don't necessarily learn in the classroom, whether it may be organization or teamwork or confidence or whatever it may be that they can take with them. Again, like I'll say a lot in this video, take with them on to the next steps. Not just only to be a better athlete, but a better person. I want this to be a learning experience. I don't want everything handed to them. I want them to experience adversity, experience these different learning experiences throughout their time participating in a sport. Again, things that they learn maybe not necessarily in the classroom, but they'll learn on the field, on the court, in the pool, on the track, whatever it may be. I want our coaches to have an impact on our student athletes. I want our coaches, and I've preached to our coaches that as much as I want to win, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but as much as I want to win, it's not all about the wins and losses. It's not all about the X's and O's. It's about transforming them into better into better people, better characteristics, better characters. And, again, not just the better athlete. I want my coaches to have an impact. As an AD for a little bit of time now, I see the impact that our coaches have on our student athletes. I see the impact that teachers and people in the school have an impact on, or have an impact on these student athletes. And I want to, have our coaches and myself and my assistants and everybody in the athletic office, be role models for these student athletes, to show them, what it's like and how it is to grow up and to learn from education-based athletics. I want there to be accountability, obviously, along with that is respect. I want there to be, I preach to our coaches to have rules, to have guidelines, to have expectations, and to hold these student athletes and your son or daughter accountable for their actions. I want them, again, to tie it back up to the learning experience. I want them to learn, and that goes along with accountability. Competitive. I obviously want to be competitive. Like I talked earlier, I want to win. I hate losing. Don't get me wrong. I played, baseball and basketball in high school, and I'm still very involved in athletics and whatnot, obviously. And I want to win. And I want to be competitive, but also I don't want us to lose sight of the end goal, which is, again, the transformational coaching. Transforming these athletes, these student athletes, into better people through the game of sport. And I think people lose track of that. They just want to win, which is great. But again, I think it's bigger than that. I think it's more than that. Again, it's having the impact. It's having this learning experience. It's developing these young boys and young girls into young men and young women that can contribute into society and things like that. Excuse me. One of the things I like to say is, to go along with all the transformational coaching, athletics is a privilege, not a right. I think it's a privilege to wear that STVM logo on your chest, on the court and off the courts, as a student and as a student athlete. You obviously you earn that right to wear that logo and to represent that team or that program. So again, holding them to kind of a higher standard. I like to hold our student athletes to a high standard, with GPAs, with respect, accountability, all these different things. Again, so athletics is a privilege and not a right. It's a enjoyable thing to be a part of a team and a program, and I want these kids to enjoy it too as well. Moving on, positive and fun experience. I want this to be a positive and fun experience for all of our athletes, and as well as our athletes, not even our athletes, but our coaches and myself as well. I want this to be a positive and fun experience for everybody. I think you hear too much, too little, or too much about student athletes that are dreading to go to practice, or dreading to go to games, or oh, I gotta go to practice, oh, I gotta this. I want it to be a positive and fun experience. I want them to want to go to practice. I want them to want to go to games, to be a part of a team, to do these things and learn and develop and be competitive and all these different things that I talked about. And I think as well too, we need to make a positive and fun experience in these 4 years here, because a lot of times I'm a big stats guy, and 95 to 97% of the time, this is a terminal experience for these student athletes, your son and your daughter. They aren't going to be going on to the next level to play at the collegiate level, or in the NBA, NFL, whatever it may be. So again, I want this to be a memorable and fun experience for them to take with them, not only in their 4 years, but beyond that, and to still be considered a part of the community, a part of the school, and to feel like, even though that they're physically not in the school anymore as a student, but they're still a part of the school and a part of the programs and a part of the community. I'd be remiss to say that academics is very important. It's obviously a standard. We have the OHSAA standards for academics, as well as STVM's standards for academics. So again, I think it's big that we put the emphasis on academics. We're a student athlete, not athlete student. Student first, athlete second. So again, make sure you're always getting your homework done, getting your grades in, and just being an overall student athlete. Moving on, I just want to give you a quick head coaches directory for the spring. This is obviously every single head coach for every single program. We offer 7 spring programs. our 7 spring sports: baseball, softball, track and field, boys tennis, boys volleyball, boys lacrosse, and girls lacrosse. So if you have any questions about anything sport related for those teams, go ahead and give those coaches an email. They should already have been reaching out to you if they haven't already. But if they have not, then please feel free to reach out to them, or have your son or daughter reach out to them. Moving on, we are a part of the OHSAA. Hopefully by now you all know what that is. It's the Ohio High School Athletic Association. That is the governing body for every single sport that we are part of, that we offer here. And there's some OHSAA preseason information that is good for parents, players, student athletes. That is just good information to know before the season starts. So feel free to click on that link and follow through with that information. Sportsmanship. This is a big one. I am huge on sportsmanship, not only for the players, the student athletes. I'd like to preach, being a good sport. Having respect for our athlete, for our opponents, having respect for our opponents' coaches, for everybody actually. Not only for our players, but also for our fans, for the parents, for the grandparents, for the alumni, for the spectators, for everybody that wants to come to any one of our games. That I will preach that to the day I die, and I don't respect, I do not like the swearing. I do not like this. I do not like that. We need to remember that these kids are kids. They're under 18, and they're here to develop and to learn. Like I talked about in my previous couple slides, having this be a developmental learning experience, as well as being competitive, but doing it the right way. This is the Parents Fair Play Code is just some information to have. One of the big pieces of the OHSAA that they like to push is respecting the game. How to have fans react and how to behave at games. Because obviously we have had some interesting fans in the past, and continue to have interesting fans, that are screaming at officials, that are screaming at coaches, that just don't do it the right way. So again, just respecting the game. And making sure that we're doing what we need to do for these student athletes to, again, help them learn and develop. Again, like I said, these are some great links. The Parents Fair Play Code, as well as the OHSAA Respect the Game, are some great links to take a look at. Just some do's and don'ts of being a parent and having good sportsmanship. One thing too I like to add in there is a funny fan. This is a funny YouTube video of how some fans, and believe it or not, it's how some of our fans even act at games. Again, it's intended to be funny, so please don't take it the wrong way. It's, again, a learning experience for all of us, for myself and everybody included, of how some spectators can act during games, and how other people maybe how people see you at games, if you're one of these fans. So again, this is just a funny video that you can watch, just kind of showing how some fans can act and will act, and how we want to be better than that, and we want to be respecting the game and being as fair and respectful as possible to the players, parents, coaches, you name it. So again, those are some great links to take a look at. Kind of getting into more of the meat and potatoes of some more of the to-do list items. Hopefully by now you all know what Final Forms is. If you do not know what Final Forms is and you are a student athlete, that is a problem. You need to get updated, or you need to be added to Final Forms. If you do not know where that link is, go to the STVM Athletics website and click on the Final Forms information. You will then need to create an account. But going through some Final Forms information, every student athlete is required to have a student Final Forms account, as well as a parent account. When you create an account, you will make a parent account and you will add your son or daughter. Every student athlete needs to be green, as I like to say. Everything is green. That means you are registered, as in signed up for Final Forms. You have a valid physical, and both sets of forms are signed. Both parent and the student forms are signed. You will not be able to participate if those forms are not signed, as well as a physical is not on file. So please get going on this ASAP, and so that your son or daughter is ready for the season. One great thing that one awesome thing that we can do now is athletes or parents can upload physicals now, instead of having to send it into the athletic office, or scan it into myself or Brendan. you can upload it now, and then it sends myself and Brendan an email, and then we upload it on our side and update it on our side, and you should be good to go. But again, just want to make sure that was very well communicated to you that you can upload those as well. Another thing, so talking a little bit about some eligibility. If you have to be at school for at least 2 academic blocks to be eligible for practices and games. That does not include study halls. Study halls do not include that academic block. So again, it has to be 2 full academic, and does not mean that study hall block that maybe your son or daughter is a part of. Any excused absences must be ran through the front office. That is Lisa Gibson, I believe. She does all of our attendance. So please, if you are to be missing any type of school or whatnot, and you have an excused absence, please make sure that that information is over to her. Talking a little bit more about some eligibility, OHSA eligibility items. You must be enrolled in passing at least 5 1-credit classes. Another thing to note is phys ed or physical education does not count as a full credit. It's only a half credit. So again, just keep that in mind when you're setting your schedules up with your counselors. Hopefully, and all your counselors should know this by now. But again, it's just some good information to have. And one thing too, all student athletes participating in extracurricular activities, including athletics, will be required to maintain a 2.0 GPA for each grading period. I just sent out the eligibility for the 3rd quarter. We're at the 2nd quarter into the 3rd quarter. So if you are on that list, you obviously got an email. Students who fall below that 2.0 GPA requirement, earning a 1.5 to 1.99 GPA, will be placed on academic probation. During this period, these students they'll still remain eligible for any athletics or extracurricular activities, only if they attend the tutoring or remediation sessions set forth by Mrs. Witters or one of their counselors. So again, keep that in mind. If your son or daughter is to fall below that 2.0 GPA, they must be attending those study hall sessions or that study tutoring sessions. Students who fall below a 1.5 GPA are ineligible for extracurricular activities and are not allowed to attend any practices or games. The OHSA also states that a student must pass 5 1-credit courses each quarter to ensure eligibility. Obviously, if a student does not pass 5 classes in the 4 quarters, it will carry over to the 1st quarter of the. So actually, a good thing to know is if student does not pass 5 credit classes in the 4th quarter, I know this is only a 3rd quarter, but again, just good information to have. In the 4th quarter, it will carry over to the 1st quarter of the next fall quarter in the school year. So basically, if your son or daughter at the end of the year is not passing those 5 classes, then they will be ineligible for the following quarter next year. Obviously, for any freshmen, sophomores, or juniors, doesn't matter about seniors, obviously, because they would be graduating. But again, that's just some great information or important information to know. Moving on a little bit about communication and playing time. One thing I like to say is I want open and honest, transparent, and in real-time communication. I think that goes for everything, for parents to coaches, for players to coaches, for me to everybody. I think you have to have open and honest and transparent and in real time, at the time, communication. Playing time, the communication process that I like to use is I want the playing time to be between player and the coach. The other communication process I like to have is, again, between player and coach. Players, I want you to be able to use your voices, use your, again, making this a learning experience for yourself and using your voice to talk to coach. If you have a problem with something, go ahead and talk to coach. Talk to coach about playing time. Talk to coach about why this or why that, or whatever questions or comments or concerns that you may have. Obviously, if that doesn't get resolved, players and coaches and then parents can get involved. Player, parent, and coach will then have a sit-down meeting about whatever questions, comments, concerns that they have. And if last step is if that does not get resolved or the question does not get answered, then I will step in and obviously have a conversation or meeting with everybody, player, coach, and parents, to hopefully resolve whatever issues, questions, comments, concerns we may have. Any other questions or concerns, outside of playing time? Again, I want this to be addressed, by the players. But again, if it does not get addressed, or your questions, comments, concerns does not get addressed, you can then talk to coach. Like I said, I want this to be a learning experience for student athletes. I don't want to hold their hand down to go and talk to coach. I want them to get outside their comfort zone. I want them to learn. I want them to be learning these other things that they're going to have to do when they get older. Again, we're transforming them. We want to transform them into these young boys and girls, into these young men and young women that have confidence, have respect, have organization. They can communicate with their players, their parents, their coaches, their whatever it may be, college counselors. Again, I want them to use their voices and make this a learning experience for the student athletes. Another parent video I like to offer, to show to different parents and players and coaches is a good video by the University of South Carolina's coach, basketball coach, who talks about playing time, talks about parents, talks about communication, talks about a bunch of different things. So again, it's just a good informational video to have and to watch. I've seen this video for years and years, and I just love using this video to inform our parents and players and coaches about how to go about communication, how to go about being a parent of a student athlete. So again, that's another great resource to have and to watch. Moving along, transportation. Transportation issues are relevant. It's everywhere. Every school that I've been at, they've always had bus issues. They've always had, it's always been a nightmare. And I would be remiss to say that it's not a nightmare here. It can be problematic at times with busing and things like that. But again, please just be patient with myself, with Brendan, as we try to work through these issues. We're working on getting full-time transportation and this and that to make sure all the trips are covered. But again, there may be some times where self-transportation may have to be used if a bus driver or buses are not available, or they cancel on us, or the driver can't make it. The problem is, it's not that we don't have enough buses. It's the problem is we don't have enough bus drivers. That's the problems that we are facing with today, not only for athletics but also for just day-to-day to and from schools. Even the public schools are dealing with the same issues. So again, please just be patient with us as we work through these issues. Some more meat and potatoes. The athletic website and social media. The linked here is our SDVM website, just the athletics portion of it. We do have a Twitter account, SDVM Athletics. We also have an Instagram account, SDVM Irish Athletics. We're constantly posting on those. We also have the sports-specific Twitter accounts as well that I have, want you guys all to follow. Whatever team you're a part of or whatever team you want to follow, make sure to follow them on Twitter and Instagram. But we're constantly adding new information to both all three: the website, the Twitter account, and the Instagram account, as well as Facebook here and there. So again, stay up to date on social media. We also have a YouTube account. It's a broad YouTube account, SDVM Broadcasting. That will broadcast all of our games. I'll actually put this video up on the SDVM Broadcasting YouTubes for you all to watch. But again, just make sure to follow our social medias as well as our website. Talking a little bit more about the meat and potatoes, ticketing. We will continue to use hometown ticketing. Hopefully by now you all know what that is. It is an online ticketing platform, no cash at the door. It's all pre-sale for everybody. So again, it's an easy process for myself. I understand it might not be easy for you, but it's easier I think for everybody. So go ahead and see the updated spectator policy there. Again, like I said, there will be no tickets sold at the gate. It must be pre-purchased. We are offering ticket and season passes also on the website, so those will be up for the spring, hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. Two quick things to know: athletic passes are not accepted for any OHSAA sanctioned games. So if there's any sectional games or regional games, whatever it may be, that are hosted by the OHSAA, then those passes that you bought, or the lifetime passes, whatever it may be, will not be accepted and cannot be accepted. And just know too as well, the ticket purchasing process for away games will vary school by school. Some schools are doing the hometown online. Some schools are still doing cash. Some schools are doing every school is different. So again, just bear with us, and that will be communicated to the families and student athletes once received from the visiting schools. Just some more important dates and information. Picture day is going to be March 7th and March 9th. That was just confirmed the other day. Schedules will be sent out, before the season begins, with your date and your time and all that good stuff. Team parent meetings, coach will send out email on dates and times of the parent meetings once teams are squared away and tryouts are done. Another thing to keep on your mind is signing day. So signing day is for any senior student athletes that are going to be playing college, sports at the next level, whether it's Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, whatever it may be, JUCO, whatever it may be. We want to celebrate all of our student athletes for the successes both on the court as well as off the court. So again, that's an important date to keep in mind. February 1st, 7 o'clock or 7:15 a.m. in the LRC. And more information will be coming to all of you about that. Moving on. Really, that's kind of all of the information that I have for the spring season. I know that was a lot. I tried to cram a lot of information in under 30 minutes. But I'm sure there's maybe a few things that I maybe missed or maybe you have questions on. So feel free to email myself there if you have any questions. But again, looking forward to the season. I think it's going to be a fun spring season. And again, it's crazy to think that it's already almost February, and spring season is right around the corner. So looking forward to the season, and go Irish.